Welcome to the Young and the Restless Daily YAPP for a quick, and by that I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. On The Young and the Restless, Lily seems to be dealing with a bad case of the feels. For months, she's been stomping all over Genoa City with a chip on her shoulder and a tone to mat to pretty much anyone who got in her way. Devin even had to tell her to drop the toot or don't bother coming to his wedding last year, and not much has changed since. Sure, she was taking up for Daniel the other day, but the only reason she's even civil with him is because Heather was murdered, and her so-called defending Daniel was really only an excuse to go off on Phyllis and say some nasty things. While being stuck anywhere with Victor and Nikki can't be top of Lily's list, she's managed to be nice when she wanted something from them. Namely dirt on Damien. That's right, it was only weeks we could count ago that Lily was hating on Damien. She didn't trust him, didn't believe him, and wanted him gone before he even came to town. But now, she's got Cain telling her he still loves her, and the first thing she does is kiss Damien a couple of times, then jumps into bed with him? It couldn't get any weirder than if Cain had spy cams throughout the place. Oh, wait, want more details? We got you! Soap Central has the best full Y&R recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not. Seriously, do not. Forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs in the as closely as we can come to being a watching party without actually being a show. And the best part is if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. On the July 9th, 2025 episode of The Young and the Restless, Jack and Billy argued over Billy's next move. Phyllis confided in Cain, and Sharon tried to get inside Phyllis's head. While enjoying a drink, Phyllis asked Cain if she wanted to join him in the courtyard. He pointed out she may be celebrating a bit prematurely. Phyllis told Cain she thrived on pressure. She said she enjoyed sipping alcohol while she watched the meltdowns, referring to ones that will happen in the future. Cain apologized for cutting short his conversation with Phyllis earlier. Phyllis asked if it hurt watching Lily&Damien together. She suggested to Cain that he still loved his ex-wife. Phyllis told Cain his pining away for Lily was distracting. Cain said his feelings for Lily wouldn't distract from his mission in Genoa City. The fiery redhead pointed out that Cain and Lily raised kids together, and that when she was with Nick and Summer, that she felt good, so she understands family connections. Phyllis asked what happened. Cain shared that Lily was upset he reconnected with Colin when he was trying to get Devin's money back. Phyllis said she could understand why Lily was upset. She didn't believe that Colin ever repented. Cain said he was there and he knew what happened. He was sick. He was dying, Cain shared. Phyllis asked how Colin made up for his past. Cain said that his father helped him create Aristotle Dumas and his empire. Phyllis cozied up to Cain and told him that there was something she knew that she wanted to tell him. Cain started to walk away when Phyllis said that the Newman family knew he was up to something. She said she was worried about him, not out of kindness, but out of practicality. Phyllis said that Nick asked her to pick a side, and that she had chosen Cain over her daughter's father. Cain said that wasn't enough for him. Phyllis said she wasn't going to get on bended knee to prove her point. Cain pointed out that she had never gone against Nick in the past. Phyllis revealed that she knew Cain had been going to Genoa City and scooping up real estate. She also let him know that the Newmans knew he had bought up the Chancellor Industries divisions that Nikki had sold off. Jack and Diane caught Billy kissing Sally's neck. Billy bet $5 that Cain made the temperature go up. He wondered how long it'd be before everything exploded. Sally noted that the heat could be beaten with a swim, and that suits were optional. Jack advised Billy not to get into business with Cain now that they know who he is. Billy said the situation was fluid. Jack said that everyone knows that Cain wants Chancellor Industries. Diane asked Billy why muddy the waters by getting into business with Cain. Sally urged Billy to listen to Jack since he backed him with Abbott Communications. Billy said he'd help Cain get Chancellor Industries back from Victor. Jack said now that Billy knew Cain was, in reality, Dumas. He should be less inclined to work with him. Diane asked Billy how he knew if what Cain was saying and the truth were the same thing. Billy told Jack and Diane that he had put Sally in charge of Abbott Communications if he were to go back to Chancellor Industries. Jack told Sally he didn't mean to insult her, but he asked Billy how he could make such a decision without running it by him. Billy responded that he was being pragmatic. He pointed out that Nikki had already unloaded some unprofitable divisions, and he'd have to fix that. Jack said he had a problem with Billy's decision to give Sally control of Abbott Communications. Diane politely asked if Sally had the expertise to run the company. Sally assured everyone she did. Jack said he wanted to give Billy something to focus on after Jill pulled the rug out from under him. Jack was incredulous that Billy was taking action to get Chancellor Industries back. Billy said he had something to prove. "It's still the thrill of the win for you," Jack snapped at his brother. Billy suggested to Jack that they could finally put Victor in his place. Sally and Diane tried to calm things down. Diane theorized that Cain can't beat Victor with or without Billy's help. Billy said Jack wasn't going to change his mind, but he hoped that he could change Jack's. Billy wanted to take Victor down. Jack said he'd love to see Victor get a comeuppance, but he pointed out to his younger brother that he couldn't measure his life with victories over Victor. "Not exactly the support I was looking for," Billy told his brother. Jack urged Billy to be very careful that he didn't screw himself out of 2 companies. Billy asked if Jack was threatening him. Sharon marveled to learn that Adam had come and gone from France. Nick gave Adam credit for making his way to France, given all the circumstances. He added that Adam gave everyone the confirmation that Cain was up to something while they were all away. Sharon noted that it will mean a lot to Adam that Nick gave Adam credit. Nick shared with Sharon that he tried to reach Phyllis, but she could be prickly if he got her at the wrong time. Sharon commented that Phyllis was prickly all the time anyway. Nick asked Sharon if she thought Phyllis would go to Cain with any information Nick might share with her. Sharon noted that Cain has something to prove to everyone there, and that he and Phyllis have a lot in common in terms of being overlooked and undervalued. Nick pointed out that Phyllis might listen to Sharon in light of their new dynamic. Sharon said it was a long shot to try to reach Phyllis. Nick said there could be more at stake than anyone realized. Sharon mused that she didn't save Phyllis's life to see her ruin it now. Sharon agreed to help Nick. He took her hand and said that was all he could ask. Sharon confessed that she wasn't sure where Nick's faith in her originated. Nick said it came from watching her. He thanked Sharon for trying to help. "In case I haven't told you lately, you're the best," Nick told his ex. Sharon and Nick interrupted Cain and Phyllis's talk. While Nick talked to Cain, Sharon tried to get Phyllis to open up. Phyllis confided in Sharon that Nick told her she had to pick a side. She asked Sharon not to admit that the 2 women have a meaningful connection and then lie to her face. Phyllis said it was Nick who gave them a reason to hate each other. Sharon asked Phyllis to tell her which side she had chosen. Phyllis told Sharon that she and Cain talked about why Nick brought Sharon on this trip. She said that instead of Sharon being in Genoa City, she was there in France trying to get information on her for Nick. Sharon pointed out that Phyllis had chosen Cain. Phyllis countered that she hadn't chosen any side yet. She lamented that she's tried to jumpstart her career to no avail. Phyllis revealed she needed to find out which side got her needs met. Sharon pointed out that Cain had spent the last 6 years or so lying to Lily and their kids. Phyllis lamented that the people she knew had left her hanging. Phyllis noted she and Cain have no history, but everyone else sees her as a mistake. Phyllis asked Sharon what choice she would make if she were in her position. Sharon stated that it was clear that Phyllis had chosen Cain. Phyllis said that she hadn't said that. Sharon pointed out that Cain was scooping up real estate, including the Genoa City Athletic Club, while they were all there. Sharon shrugged that if Phyllis thought Cain was the right person to ally herself with, then she should go ahead. Phyllis said she had kept secret that Adam had made his way to Cain's estate as a sign of her loyalty to the Newmans. Nick wondered to Cain why he didn't let his real friends know what he was doing. Cain claimed to be the same guy. Nick suggested that he was not the same guy. Cain said that Lily would always be his anchor. Nick theorized that Cain's actions would only push Lily away. Cain thanked Nick for being so calm. Nick accused Nick of still wanting to take Chancellor Industries back. The two ended on a good note when Cain assured Nick that the Newmans would be fine. The two men shook hands on Cain's promise. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that 3 clues could point to Cain Ashby and Phyllis Summers' passionate turn. Is a surprise romantic detour on the way? 1. Phyllis will achieve professional and romantic success. For starters, Y&R spoilers have already hinted about Phyllis achieving both professional and romantic success. There aren't a lot of love interest options for Phyllis at the moment, but she's already entangled with one person who could check off all the boxes. Phyllis is aligning herself with Cain and has assured him that she's willing to betray Nick Newman if need be. We're seeing the professional angle already, so it wouldn't be too hard to take things into romantic territory eventually. Whatever the case, Phyllis is set to pull off a romantic win due to this nice trip. Could that mean that Cain and Phyllis will ultimately mix business with pleasure? 2. Cain's wedding ring hint. Of course, Lily Winters is Cain's true love, and where his story is obviously headed sooner or later. Cain and Lily's reunion is inevitable, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen right away. In the July 10th episode, Cain took off the chain he was wearing, which seemingly had his wedding ring dangling on it. After Lily let passion erupt with Damien Cain, Cain was left to sulk and toy with that ring. Maybe that's a clue that Cain will toy with some other love interest possibilities as well. If Lily can hook up with Damien, why shouldn't Cain have some fun of his own and hook up with Phyllis? 3. Phyllis and Cain make the perfect pariah pair. We also can't ignore the fact that Phyllis and Cain make the perfect pariah pair. Cain is an outsider after years away from Genoa City, but Phyllis has been an outsider even while living there. Phyllis recently made a big spiel to Sharon Newman about the people of GC treating her like a nuisance and focusing on her mistakes. At the same time, Phyllis praised Cain as someone who values her potential and thinks she's smart enough to be on his team. Why wouldn't Phyllis be drawn to someone like that? Maybe even in a romantic way. We're not saying Cain and Phyllis are going to find lasting love, but the show's offering up some hints about them potentially dipping into more passionate territory. Whether that involves a full-fledged romantic chapter or just a one-night stand, Phyllis and Cain could take a sizzling turn together. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Friday, July 11th reveal that a mystery knife culprit will strike while Claire Newman falls into Holden Novak's arms. Audra Charles will also tempt Kyle Abbott, but she could create some trouble for herself in the process. For starters, Holden will come to Claire's rescue again. As Claire grieves the loss of Cole Howard, she'll accept Holden's comforting embrace and get some much-needed sympathy. Although Claire has been leaning on Victoria Newman, she may worry it's not fair to her mom. Victoria is grieving too, so Claire may acknowledge that and admit she doesn't want to make things harder on her. Claire will wish Kyle was around to provide support, but Holden will be more than willing to fill in for him. Just how far will Holden's comfort go? Could Claire get swept up in a kiss with Holden while Kyle's out of the picture? Regardless, Kyle will be off sharing some intense moments with Audra in Nice. Audra will turn up the heat in the temptation department and leave Kyle closer than ever to caving in. It turns out Audra will be tempted as well, so will she surrender with Kyle? Could Kyle and Audra land in bed together before this night is over? In Genoa City, Adam Newman will return from France and confirm to Chelsea Lawson that Cain Ashby is Aristotle Dumas. After Adam updates Chelsea on his information trade with Victor Newman, they'll do some plotting together. Chelsea and Adam will want to figure out a way to stop whatever Cain's setting in motion, so they'll put their heads together on a plan. Back in Nice, fans will see a mystery culprit wearing gloves while holding a knife. The show's been teasing a whodunit for a while now, but it's finally about to kick off. Cain predicted he'd be the victim of an attempt on his life, so will this mysterious culprit go after him? Could Cain order this himself by having Carter lightly stab him for a Damien Cain frame-up? Of course, it's also possible someone else will face the knife instead. Chance Chancellor or another character could land in grave danger depending on how things play out. The Young and the Restless scoop for Thursday, July 10th reveals Christine Blair and Danny Romalotti will get engaged. Also coming up, Cain Ashby will lose it. Plus, Lily Winters will make love with Damien Cain, and Chelsea Lawson will comfort Victoria Newman. Why in our spoilers tease, Lily will have a dream that she's kissing Damien, but after they pull apart, she'll see Cain instead. So, she'll be unsettled and will pull on a robe and head out of her room. She'll end up getting turned around in the maze, and Cain will watch her on his monitor. When he realizes she's lost, he'll get up to go help her, but Lily will end up running into Damien. She'll tell him she needs something new, and just as she kisses Damien, Cole will come along and see it. He'll hide so they don't see him, and Lily will tell Damien she's not going to let Cain or his games waste one more second of her life. Damien will walk Lily to her room. Lily will kiss him, and he'll ask if she's sure. "Yes, I am sure," she'll say. As for Cain, he'll head to the cocktail area for a drink. He'll pour himself a stiff one and angrily slam the bottle on the table. Then he'll take off a chain he was wearing around his neck, under his shirt. Cain will dangle it in front of his face, and viewers will see his wedding ring hanging from it. At society, Danny will pull out all the stops to impress Christine. He'll make her his specialty pasta, and they'll chat as they enjoy dinner and drinks. Danny will ask her where she sees them ending up. "I don't care where we are, as long as we're together," she'll reply. He'll suggest they find a place together, and Christine will say she'd love that. Danny will have a few surprises in store for her, and there will be a flashback from when they first started to get to know each other. Danny will lift a serving lid off a guitar pick. Christine will say she remembers the concerts. Then he'll lift a lid off a hammer, and viewers will see another Danny and Cricket flashback. The next reveal will be an etiquette book and some flashcards. Danny will encourage Christine to lift the last lid. It'll be a Lee, which will remind her of their wedding in Hawaii. And they'll flash back to their honeymoon. The next lid will be lifted, and it'll contain mementos of their first Christmas together. "This is all so sweet of you. I loved reliving these memories," Christine will say. Danny will tell her it all comes down to this very moment. So, Christine will lift the last lid, which contains a ring box. Christine will get teary-eyed. Danny will tell her she completely changed his life when he first met her. "It always felt so right when we were together," he'll add. "I don't want to spend another day of my life without you." He'll pull out the ring and ask her to marry him. "I never thought this day would ever come," Christine will reply. But Danny Romalotti, "I love you. So yes, 1,000 times yes, I will marry you." Then they'll kiss. Finally, Chelsea will visit Victoria, who will be grieving Cole Howard. She'll tell her she's here for her, whatever she needs, and she'll encourage her to let some of the pain out. Victoria will say she cried herself to sleep. Chelsea will tell Victoria she knows she's trying to keep it together for Claire Newman. "Kyle's away, my family is away. She just needs someone she can be vulnerable with," Victoria will reply. But Chelsea will say she needs to grieve. So, Victoria will let loose. "I want to hear his voice again. I need him here to make sense of this for me," she'll say, weeping. "I need him back. I can't do this. I don't want to be alone." After Victoria calms down, Chelsea will tell her she's there, if she needs to talk. "I'm so sorry," she'll add as she leaves. Keep reading the Soap Scoop for Young and the Restless spoilers and news. And make sure to also join our Y&R Facebook group or leave us a reply in our comments section. But if you miss an episode, don't fret. You can watch The Young and the Restless online at cbs.com. In the latest twists from The Young and the Restless, two familiar faces, Phyllis Summers and Billy Abbott, are aligning themselves with a dangerous ally, Cain Ashby. This unexpected partnership could have long-lasting consequences for everyone involved, potentially destroying what's left of their personal and professional lives. Phyllis Summers is at a crossroads. Rejected by her family, shunned by employers, and isolated socially, Phyllis finds herself desperate for a fresh start. While she claims to be undecided about Cain, her recent actions suggest otherwise. She's considering throwing her lot in with the man formerly known as Aristotle Dumas, a mysterious figure with grand ambitions and little regard for the damage he leaves behind. Phyllis has long been her own worst enemy. Her decision to fake her death and frame Diane Jenkins alienated her children, Summer and Daniel, and turned nearly everyone in Genoa City against her. Now, she's clinging to the hope that an alliance with Cain could redeem her, or at least give her purpose. But Cain isn't looking for a partner, he's looking for a pawn. He wants Phyllis to prove her loyalty, and she seems willing to do just that, even if it means betraying Nick, her former love, and others still willing to speak to her. To make matters worse, there are hints that her connection with Cain could soon turn romantic. With her reputation already in shambles, a personal relationship with Cain might seal her fate in Genoa City. Meanwhile, Billy Abbott is taking his own dangerous turn. Furious with Victor Newman for manipulating Jill into selling Chancellor, Billy is letting resentment guide his decisions. Despite Jack's generous investment in Abbott Communications and his encouragement to start anew, Billy can't resist the thrill of revenge. Instead of moving forward, Billy is handing the reins of his new company to Sally Spectra and plotting with Cain to take down Victor. It's a high-risk move, especially given Cain's shady past as a conman raised by the infamous Colin. Billy knows Cain can't be fully trusted, but the lure of vengeance appears too strong. Jack, who hopes Billy will choose stability over chaos, is already frustrated. He fears Billy's reckless actions could cost him both Chancellor and Abbott Communications. Even Victoria, who disapproves of Victor's manipulations, may not stand by Billy if he teams up with Cain. What Billy and Phyllis may not fully realize is the scope of Cain's plans. This isn't just about Chancellor. Cain has his sights set on Newman Enterprises, Jabot, and Chancellor Winters. He aims to dismantle the very foundation of Genoa City's power structure, targeting the Newmans, Abbotts, and Winters alike. Phyllis is fully aware of Cain's intentions and seems ready to support him, regardless of the consequences. Billy, however, appears to be in the dark about the full extent of Cain's goals. If he unknowingly aids Cain in taking down his own family, including Jack and the Abbotts, it could lead to irreversible damage. Both Phyllis and Billy are playing a dangerous game. For Phyllis, aligning with Cain could mean losing the last bits of respect from Nick, Summer, and others. For Billy, this could be the move that finally alienates him from his brother Jack and destroys the trust he's been trying to rebuild. In the end, their desperation may blind them to the true cost of their choices. While Cain's charm and promises of a new future may be tempting, they could be walking straight into a disaster, personally, professionally, and emotionally. Auf dem luxuriösen Zug, der durch Europa fährt, spitzt sich das Drama Audra, Nate, Kyle und Damien dramatisch zu. Während Damien sich ursprünglich als stiller Beobachter im Hintergrund hielt, hat sich seine Rolle schnell verändert. Er wurde zum Beschützer seines Halbbruders Nate und zum Aufdecker einer folgenschweren Wahrheit. Audras scheinbar loyale Beziehung zu Nate bekommt Risse, als Damien verdächtige Zeichen bemerkt. Ihre nächtlichen Ausflüge, geheime Telefonate und die körperliche Nähe zu Kyle werfen Fragen auf. Damien, misstrauisch und erfahren, beginnt Audra zu beschatten. Und was er entdeckt, erschüttert ihn. Heimliche Treffen, gestohlene Blicke und schließlich eine leidenschaftliche Begegnung zwischen Audra und Kyle im hinteren Bereich des Speisewagens. Damien dokumentiert alles, mit Fotos und Videoaufnahmen. Als er schließlich Beweise an Nate weitergibt, bricht für diesen eine Welt zusammen. Die Konfrontation ist öffentlich, brutal und endgültig. Nate zwingt Audra, sich vor aller Augen zu erklären, und sie steht plötzlich ganz allein da. Kyle, aus Angst um seinen Ruf, distanziert sich schlagartig. Nate verlässt wortlos den Zug. Sein Platz bleibt leer, sein Schmerz aber spürbar. Audra, einst an der Spitze, ist nun völlig isoliert. Der größte Schock. Ein heimlich belauschtes Gespräch mit Kyle bringt ans Licht, dass Audra schwanger ist. Doch wer der Vater ist, bleibt ungewiss. Kyle weist jede Verantwortung von sich. Audra versinkt in Verzweiflung. Ihre einstige Macht, ihre Beziehungen, ihr Einfluss, alles ist zerbrochen. In der Einsamkeit ihrer Kabine beginnt Audra, über ihr Leben nachzudenken. Die kalte Realität, die Angst vor der Zukunft und die Verantwortung für ihr ungeborenes Kind lasten schwer auf ihr. Doch sie bleibt nicht liegen. Mit bemerkenswerter Stärke sucht sie Damien auf, nicht um Vergebung zu bitten, sondern um ihm für seine Ehrlichkeit zu danken. Es ist ein Moment von Würde, der beide verändert. Als der Zug an einer Küstenstadt hält, steht Audra allein auf dem Bahnsteig. Die kalte Nachtluft, das Heulen der Wellen. Sie ist auf sich selbst zurückgeworfen. Aber sie hält durch. Für ihr Kind, für einen Neuanfang. Auch wenn niemand auf sie wartet, beginnt hier ihr neuer Weg. Ein stiller, aber starker Schritt in ein unbekanntes Morgen. Währenddessen sitzt Damien im Abteil, blickt in den Nachthimmel und fragt sich, ob er das Richtige getan hat. Doch in einer Welt voller Lügen bleibt die Wahrheit vielleicht das Einzige, was zählt, auch wenn sie wehtut. Normally, when one hears the phrase, "gone to the dogs," we tend to think something negative. But in this case, when referring to the young and the restless, it couldn't be further from the truth. Considering the CBS soap has been daytime's #1 drama for many, many years, the show has to be doing something right? And now its publicist, Matt Cain, has given us another reason to love the stars and their extended family. Sharon Case posted a video on her official Instagram that had been created by Cain and thanked him for making the adorable video for everyone involved. Set to the soap's theme song, the video didn't feature anyone from the cast, but rather their closest furry friends as their characters, including Case's pup Andy as Sharon, Tracy E. Bregman's Ivy as Lauren, Melissa Ordway's Lily as Abby, Michael Mealer's Mishka as Kyle, Amelia Heinley's Popo as Victoria, Melody Thomas Scott's Riley, as well as her cat Kashmir, as Nikki, Joshua Morrow's Roxy Blue, and Bodie as Nick, Mark Grossman's Oakley as Adam, and Melissa Claire Egan's Bailey as Chelsea. Cain, who recently lost his beloved pup Elliot, not only put a smile on the Genoa City stars' faces, but the fans were touched as well by the sweet sentiment and just thought it was the cutest work of art, and it gave us all the warm fuzzies too. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Kyle Abbott and Audra Charles could get caught on camera. Will Damien Cain score cheating evidence for Nate Hastings? Although Damien hasn't known Nate very long, he's managed to bond with his half-brother in a short amount of time. Damien really appreciates all the help Nate gave Amy Lewis to extend her life, so they've formed a nice connection. As a result, Damien has become protective of Nate and has good reasons to be concerned about his relationship with Audra. It makes sense for Damien to be on high alert since Audra isn't being very subtle about throwing herself at Kyle. Although Audra tried to act like she was loyal to Nate, Damien isn't so sure about that. Damien vowed to keep an eye on Audra, so it seems like YNR is going somewhere with his protective nature and the fact that he's watching her closely. Since Audra and Kyle may be on the verge of surrendering to temptation, Damien just might catch them kissing. Damien could witness Kyle and Audra looking ready to tear each other's clothes off as they stumble into a private train car together. Perhaps Damien will spot a makeout session that's about to cross the line into even more passionate territory. If that's the case, it'd be easy for Damien to whip out his phone and film proof of Audra's betrayal. Damien could snap some pics, or even get a video to prove to Nate that Audra cheated on him. Since Audra's own relationship with Nate will be at stake, she may change her mind about destroying Kyle and Claire Newman's romance. This could turn into a situation where Kyle and Audra make a pact to bury what's happened between them. Of course, Damien could throw a wrench in that plan if he sends Nate the potential cheating video or pics once they finally have cell service again. Audra could come home to disaster and get quite a shock if Nate's waiting with betrayal evidence. Genoa City. Diane Jenkins has always held secrets, but none as deeply buried as the one now threatening to upend the fragile life she has painstakingly rebuilt. It began with a feeling, an instinct she could neither ignore nor explain. Cain Ashby had never met her before, not formally. And yet, when their paths crossed at a Chancellor Winters event, something in his demeanor, his glance, his very presence, struck her with an unsettling familiarity. This was different from the usual Genoa City drama. The more she observed Cain, the more she felt a strange, magnetic pull, a sense of déjà vu that wasn't about attraction or admiration. It was primal, maternal, as if her bones remembered something her brain could not. What no one knew, not Jack, not Kyle, not even the late Tucker McCall, was that long before she returned to reclaim her place at Jack's side, Diane had carried and lost a child. A boy, born in a foreign country under a false identity during the darkest of her spiral years, a child she was pressured to give up. She had convinced herself the baby hadn't survived, a necessary lie to bury a past too painful to face. But Cain, with the piercing defiance in his eyes and a rebellious streak that echoed her own, had unearthed that buried possibility with a single look. Unable to shake the suspicion, Diane did what she does best. She took control. Quietly, discreetly, she paid a private lab in Chicago to collect a sample of Cain's DNA under the guise of a corporate security check. Submitting her own sample under a false name, she ensured no trail could link the inquiry back to her. The waiting nearly drove her mad, her mind spiraling into the terrifying what-ifs. When the results came, the silence was deafening. Sitting alone in a rental car, her hands trembling as she unfolded the document, she read the words that would change everything. A 99.997% match. The paper shook in her hand as the world tilted. Cain Ashby, raised in Australia, adopted, a man forged by a life of his own, was her son. This revelation was not a joyful reunion. It was a ticking bomb. If it ever came out that she had hidden another life-altering truth, it would destroy everything. Jack would never forgive her. Kyle would spiral. The Abbott family, already fraying at the edges, might never recover from the betrayal. The situation grew more precarious when Cain, suspicious of her constant gaze, confronted her. Diane deflected, but the tremor in her voice betrayed her. He stared a moment too long, a knowing look in his eyes before he walked away. The complete list of nominees for the 52nd Annual Daytime Emmy Awards is going to be released tomorrow, Thursday, July 10th, but The Young and the Restless is already celebrating. TV news magazine shows Access Hollywood, Entertainment Tonight, E! News, and Extra got the inside scoop on some key categories ahead of time, and Y&R has been acknowledged by its peers. According to Entertainment Tonight, whose video was shared by X, formerly Twitter, user @theaveragericky, Peter Bergman was nominated in the category of Outstanding Lead Performance in a Daytime Drama Series, Actor. His fellow nominees are Days of Our Lives, actors Eric Martsolf, Greg Ricart, Paul Telfer, and General Hospital's Dominic Zamprogna. CBS's long-running daytime drama was awarded 4 of the 6 slots for Outstanding Lead Performance in a Daytime Drama Series, Actress. The Young and the Restless nominations, announced by Extra and reported by X, formerly Twitter user @Alicia3Mitchell, are as follows: Sharon Case, Eileen Davidson, Melissa Claire Egan, and last year's winner, Michelle Stafford. Other nominees include GH actresses Nancy Lee Grahn and Laura Wright. While the younger performer in a drama series category has been retired, there is a new category, Outstanding Emerging Talent in a Daytime Drama Program, which will enable actors to contend for Daytime Emmy Gold. To be eligible for this award, performers have to be on their first contract with a daytime drama and have had no prior Daytime Emmy acting nominations. The rules state that they must have been on their daytime drama for 2 years or less and must be on screen in a speaking role with at least one multi-episode story arc. There is no age restriction. What are Adam and Chelsea up to? The Young and the Restless spoilers for Friday, July 11th, convince both Kyle and Audra that they've gotten their way. But exactly who is playing whom? Audra came to France with 2 objectives. 1. She wanted to meet Dumas and see if he could do her any good, professionally speaking. 2. To seduce Kyle and fulfill her obligation to Victor so he would fund her company. First, she found out that Dumas is Cain, which made her situation trickier, and second, she kept throwing herself at Kyle. Kyle, for his part, is convinced that he can seduce Audra and, as a result, get her to do his bidding. We think he's deluding himself, but who knows? Maybe Audra loses her reason, spending weeks trapped with people who hate her, and she might lose control of the situation. The idea of her losing to Kyle seems impossible, But then again, everything is topsy-turvy in hedge maze land. While Kyle and Audra are playing peekaboo, Claire is back in Genoa City, mourning the death of her dad. She had already turned to Holden once for comfort. And with Kyle continuing to be missing in action, what's to stop her from doing it again? And again. And again. Adam trudged up a hill to report to Victor. Guess what? His daddy still doesn't love him. Chelsea is no longer throwing herself at Ray and Billy, so they can tell her how she's the best woman who ever lived. She's back to Adam for that. Which means they're basically on their own, so they have no one to plot with but each other, in the hope that someone might love them. Will Lily's decision to kiss Damien push Cain over the edge? In the July 10th episode of The Young and the Restless, emotions ran high as Lily and Damien's growing connection hit a boiling point, while Cain's anger over Lily's actions reached its peak. Meanwhile, Victoria and Claire continued to process their grief over Cole's death, and Danny surprised Christine with a heartfelt proposal. Lily found herself increasingly drawn to Damien during their time together in the maze. Despite her earlier hesitation, they shared a kiss, which happened after she'd had a dream of kissing Damien, and he turned into Cain. The pair discussed their past and the changes they've undergone since then, and Damien suggested that Cain was still devastated over their breakup. Lily didn't care. She wanted something new for her future and kissed Damien. As Lily grappled with her feelings, Cain observed the kiss from a distance, his emotions shifting from disbelief to anger. He angrily walked away, taking off his necklace that had his wedding band on it. Meanwhile, at Society, Danny took Christine down memory lane. He prepared a special dinner for the two of them, celebrating their second chance at love. The evening was filled with sentimental moments, including gifts representing key milestones in their relationship: a soda, a guitar pick, an etiquette book, and a lei from their Hawaiian wedding. Each memento represented a different part of their journey together. After sharing a dance, Danny surprised Christine with a golden cloche, inside which was a ring. He dropped to one knee and asked her to marry him, acknowledging the mistakes he had made in the past and expressing how much she meant to him. Overcome with emotion, Christine accepted, saying 1,000 times yes, and they shared a passionate kiss to seal their commitment. Meanwhile, Victoria continued to grieve the loss of Cole. Chelsea visited Victoria at the tack house to offer her support. Chelsea urged her to let it out and lean on those who care for her. Victoria expressed how blindsided she was by Cole's death and how she wished she could have more time with him. Chelsea reminded her that grief doesn't follow a schedule and encouraged her to find peace in the memories they shared. As they discussed the real estate situation with Cain, Victoria couldn't help but wonder what was going on with him and what role he was playing in the larger picture. Chelsea explained that the Newmans had caught wind of Cain's actions, adding more confusion to the already complicated situation. Fans of The Young and the Restless agree that Jack was justified in going off on Billy. Jack didn't shy away from his feelings. On The Young and the Restless, he went off on Billy. Fans love this new side of Jack. They hope that he cuts his brother out of his life. Apparently, staying in a maze will drive anyone crazy. Jack got sick of seeing Billy gloating about going after Victor. Billy agreed to work with Cain to reclaim Chancellor. Jack even reached his breaking point. Jack is concerned about Billy's mentality, especially when it comes to Victor. Fans on one soap opera message board argued that Jack was justified in going off on Billy. The original poster wrote, "Jack is so through with Billy, and I think he made a number of good points." Billy went against his word. He promised Jack that he would focus on Abbott communications, but he's having shiny object syndrome. He wants to focus on the next big thing. Billy is a gambling addict who sees life the same way. He's only concerned about chasing his next winning hand. Jack tried to help Billy, and yet he still wants revenge. It's never enough for him. It's no wonder that Jack is fed up with his brother. I think Jack is justified in going off on Billy 1000%. Jack did this for Billy, and as Jack said, "Not Sally," one user responded. Sally ended up in the position that Billy was supposed to be in. Jack actually gave Sally the funding, not Billy. In another soap opera thread, fans speculated whether Jack is fed up with Billy. He's done everything he could to help him. But Billy is thirsty for revenge. Maybe Jack will finally cut him off, for once and for all. The original poster wrote, "Jill finally learned and cut Billy off, and Jack needs to do the same." He needs to take a step back from Billy and let him sink or swim, because if they continue to be a crutch to him, he will never learn. Y&R fans agree. They're rooting for Jack to remove the funding. This will affect Sally's future, but she should know better than to mix business with pleasure. This has never worked out in her case. Billy needs to learn how to stand on his own 2 feet. He's way too old to play these games anymore. What are your thoughts? Do you agree that Jack was justified in going off on him? Do you think Jack will cut Billy off financially? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.